Da Vinci.
Hi und willkommen zu Usko Talks Part 1. 2. Yeah, it's fine. Let's go. Brother, welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for taking your time for me. It's an honor for me to have you here. It's my first interview in English, so can be I can have a few cringe moments, but
It's okay.
it's okay. It's okay. For the beginning, it's okay. How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm too. So, bro, we will talk about your career, how it started, and how it's going on from the youth team now. And yeah, just start. I started. I'm born in Sweden, so I started when I was 5 years old, and in a small football school in my neighborhood with some friends. Got to know more friends there, and then I was in my neighborhood club called HIF Kortsnaga in Sweden. I was there until I was 12, and then I moved to a team called Buspa. Had a really good team for the guys born 97. Yeah. And we went to like big tournaments in Sweden and everything. And I developed a lot there. And then when I was 15 years old, I went up to the first team there.
Which league?
They were in the third division, Sweden profession. Yeah. But I was more training with them, and then I played with the under 19s and under 21s.
Was 15 years old?
Yeah, I was 15 at that time.
And you play with the
Under 14 and under 21, and I was training with the first team. Well, and then after I finished 9th grade, of course, we went to a lot of tournaments. So I got scouted by a Danish team, Brøndby in Copenhagen. I know. So when I was 16 years old, I moved there alone and signed a 3-year contract.
So you switched the country, the 16 years old, from Sweden to Denmark?
Yes.
Alone.
So the first year I was there, I lived in I don't know how you say it in English, but in like a school where
Off the club where the players...
no, not off the club. It was like they cooperated with the club,
okay,
but it's not for the club. So I went to school there the first year, and then I moved to a family in Copenhagen, and I lived there for the other 2 years. I was there for 3 years. Then my contract finished. I went back to Sweden, and
just want to know, how was the time for you, especially mentally, to be alone in a different country without your family? Then you said you lived with another family you didn't know, so how was it?
of course, in the beginning it was tough, but then I felt I got to know the language really quick, and then I got to know friends from the team, of course, and they took good care of me. So I came into the environment really, really quick, and then I didn't think so much about it. Of course, it's hard to leave your family and friends and everything, but I knew I needed to risk it if I want something with my football, and I took a risk. After 3 years, I went back to Sweden to figure out what I wanted to do, and it ended up with me quitting football for 1 year.
Really?
Yeah, when I was 19, I quit football for 1 year.
Totally 1 year,
Nothing. It was nothing. I just like train in the gym, play football sometimes, alone. I lost the motivation for football, so that year I just started to work different jobs just to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I think it was like over one day, like over one night, I was just laying down at home thinking, is this really what I want to do? Like,
what are you doing now?
yeah,
What are you doing here?
waking up in the morning, work until like 4, 3, and then you do nothing. You don't know what to do. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to go all in. And then I signed again in the third division for the same club Husqvarna I was in Sweden. Yeah, in Sweden. I played there for 1 year. That was 2017. And then 2018, I signed for the big club in my city called Jönköping Södra. They were in the second league, sorry. They were in the second league at that time. Signed a 3-year contract there, and I stayed there all 3 years. And had really good coaches, so I felt I was developing a lot. So my last season in that club, I scored 9 goals, 8 assists
At the CDM.
as a one number 8 box to box. And from there I went to the highest league in Sweden. So in terms of from quitting to football until I reached the highest league in Sweden was 4 years. So it went really quick, and then I signed for Halmstad.
And how was the feeling when you first signed your first pro contract? So you were working 9-5 job, and then you reached your dream. Was it a relief for you?
Of course, like I knew during the period I played in the second division that I had the quality for playing in the highest league, but it was just a question about when I'm gonna do it. But of course, the day I signed for Halmstad in the highest league, I felt like I thought about the time when I was working and said, I felt like not satisfied that I reached the highest league, but I was proud of myself, of course, in terms of quitting football 4 years ago and then reaching the highest league in Sweden. So 2021, I signed for Halmstad. I was there for 1 year, and I went to, after that, I had a good season, so I went to AFK Gothenburg, and I was there in a period of 1.5 year with some loans, and then I went back on loan to Halmstad, and then Halmstad went back to Allsvenskan again because we relegated. That year I switched team. Then I went back to Halmstad, and we were in Allsvenskan, and I was there for 1 season, 1 year. I was there for 1 year, and now I signed for a team in Poland this summer. So
Recorded. And when and how did you get the first contact of the Wacker national team during this period to career?
it was when I was in the second league in Sweden that I was playing for Jönköping, and at that time I got contacted. My father got contacted by some guys who was working for the Iraq Federation, and I had the age of playing for the under 23s. So we had a big camp in Turkey with a lot of players they want to watch, and I played good during that camp, and then I fixed my passport and my papers and everything, and got my passport. And in that time, I decided that was the time I decided for representing Iraq as a national team. So we started with the under 23s. I think it was 2018, 19 there, 2019, and since then I took all the steps until I reached the first.
How was the feeling when you got the call or the contact that you will be in the first team? You remember that?
Yes, I do, but it was a couple of times, in media that you can read some things, and it was a couple of times they say, okay, he's gonna come to the first team, but I never got called up. And then the year I signed for Halmstad, 2021, my first 6 months in the league was really, really good. And it was the first time I was playing in the highest league in Sweden. So I did good, and we got a new coach. At that time, it was Stick Advocat for the
I know, Touch coach here. He was also in Turkey.
So at that time, he called me up for the World Cup qualifiers. So I made my debut in September.
Against who? You know that?
South Korea.
South Korea away.
Yes, it was my first big nerves. Yeah, it was in the lineup, huh? Yeah, but I wasn't prepared because I thought it was my first camp with the first national team. And at that time it was Corona. So when I came to South Korea, I needed to go to like a Corona hotel and stay there until they took the test, and it turned out to be negative. And then I could travel to the team hotel and arrive like in 2 days before the game. So I missed the first training, and then it was my first whole like full training was the day before the game.
Yeah.
And then the coach came to me and asked, "Are you prepared?" I said, "Yeah, I'm ready." And then I said, "Okay, because you're gonna start tomorrow." And then I got a little bit like nervous, and shaky legs.
And you call your family directly, or
Yeah, of
tell
course.
them?
Yeah, I called my father and my family to tell them that I'm gonna start. But of course, when you go there, like mentally, I was like, okay, I'm prepared. If I get a chance, I would do my best. But I wasn't prepared for like getting it
So that's
straight away. And I just arrived to the camp also. Like, so physically, I was tired, but mentally, I was like, okay, let's do it. And then I just tried to prepare myself as good as I can, and actually played a really good game.
Well, what was the result?
0-0
0-0.
in South Korea away. So that was my first game, and
90 minutes or 100 minutes?
90
90 minutes in your first.
in that case.
What a feeling is that to be, huh?
It was a nice feeling, but it was an empty stadium, so that's like pressure and everything. But of course, going from playing in the Swedish league, where okay, there's a lot of good players, but then you get to play against players in the best leagues in Europe. Like Son was starting, and then you have a lot of, I can tell a lot of names there, and Park, and the center back was in by München, and you know, yeah, exactly. And all of them, and then you stand there on the pitch and you do a really good game.
Yeah.
So of course it motivates me even more to push myself. So yeah.
Representing your country is something else. I know for Lajas and club football is also special, but when it's international break, international duty, it's always something else. So I think with your supporters, Iraqi supporters are crazy.
They are amazing.
They're amazing, crazy, really.
Yeah. Of course, I always said that, like, when you play for a club, you represent one city.
Yeah.
That you play. But when you play for a country, you represent
A whole nation.
like yourself, your family, a whole nation, and everybody. Just like you represent everybody. So that's the big difference, and you can feel it. Like when you walk in the streets in Iraq, when you go to cities, when you see like Iraqi people and they know you and everything. So yeah, it's something that.
Not only in Iraq. You're now here in Germany, in Hannover.
That's what I'm saying. When you go in the cities where you have Iraqis,
It's crazy.
but yeah, Merkhas is also like you can't walk with him in Iraq. He's too famous, so sometimes he needs some bodyguards to walk around him. So yeah.
I know that. That was really well. So, and how is your season going on now in Cracovia?
It's been good. I signed it during the summer.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult league. It's a lot of running and back and forth, and it's not as tactical as in Sweden, but it's very physical and like a lot of back and forth, as I said. So you need to adapt, but I'm feeling that I'm getting into everything more and more, like the environment and getting to know the city, my teammates, the club, also the language, the language and the style of playing and everything. So I'm feeling that I'm adapting more and more and feeling more comfortable with it.
So it takes always time to adapt it.
Yeah, I've been there now for.
You're a guy that needs a lot of time to adapt to new challenges, or
No, not really, but then it's not up to me also. Like,
I mean, you were 16 when you moved to Denmark, so you know that experience also.
that's what I'm saying. I don't have, like, I don't feel it's difficult to adapt to things, and Before I felt that because I was a really shy but now I'm very like,
You and shy?
yeah, I was shy. I was really shy. You don't believe them, but I was really shy. Uh, so now I'm more open-minded and social and everything. So it was a lot of easier to get into like the dressing room and knowing the guys and everything. So it's a nice club to be in, and I really appreciate to be there also. Um, and I'm feeling that I'm, yeah, as I said before, getting more comfortable with everything. So for me right now, it's just taking steps and need to show that I'm a player that it's supposed to start.
I'm 100% sure that you will do that. Everyone knows your quality, but not also as a football player, as a human being.
Yes.
I'm really grateful to know you. I think your first major tournament was the Asia Cup with Iraq.
Yeah, the big, like, I played Golf Cup before, but it's the golf team, so. But the big, yeah, it was my first. It was in Asia. I was there. You were there. I lived it. I saw it, everything.
It was amazing.
Yes.
It was also amazing experience for me because of Nafas. We saw each other for the first time there.
Get to know each other.
Yeah. And
Thanks, Nafas.
I think Nafas is behind the camera also. And inshallah, there will be the other major World Cup,
The biggest.
the biggest cup in football,
The biggest stage you can have.
the biggest stage. For me, it's Champions League.
You think Champions League is bigger than World?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. You just said that the like national teams are bigger than the club teams. So how can?
No. Yeah, it's for me personally. If I would be a football player, would be Champions League. I don't know why, because maybe I'm a Ronaldo fan, Cristiano fan, so that's why. But the biggest stage is the World Cup. The whole world is watching. Many years before, they did it. Now it's your time, inshallah, to get the job done. Four games left, 12 points advantage. Yes, and yeah. What was your feeling? What is your goal? And how was it like? You're thinking every day about it?
Not every day, but of course, like, when you say, when I told you before that maybe I don't play a lot in the club. During the period I've been there, I try to motivate myself with like being so prepared as I can to when I come to the national team and represent the national team, because I know how big it is for the country, for me, for my family, and for all the players. And I can really feel it, like when you come to the camps, that everybody's talking about it. You see people around all the world, like when you meet an Iraqi people, the only thing they say is like they say hi to you, they ask how you are, and the next thing they talk about is like, just take us to the World Cup. So of course it's huge, and yeah, that's all we think about. Like, if you reach that and you get to play the World Cup, then I can probably say that I'm proud of my career. Then I can say, okay, I played World Cup, and that's the biggest thing you can play, and for your nation. So yeah,
Even when you think about it, when you dream about it, gives me always goosebumps to see Malchas or you, Youssef, in the World Cup in the States. It's all watching, and
when I was younger, I was looking at like Asia Cup with my father and with my family and stuff, and you could feel how big it was for them. But at that time, I didn't understand it until I played it myself, and it was really big. So of course, when you think about something bigger and the World Cup, that's the only thing you really think about. That's the only thing you want to reach. And it's also like when I talk to Merhas or the other guys, in the end, like when we talk about it, we always come in like, imagine if we do it.
oh, just imagine you quitted football and then you're playing World Cup. Crazy, crazy story. But I'm sure, and inshallah, you will get the job done.
I'm sure about it.
I have now a few questions for you, and then you finish the interview.
Yeah.
So,
You already tired of me, or?
but I don't want to take so much time of you. So, what was your toughest opponent as a player?
Like team.
No, not team. As first as a player,
As a player.
individual.
Individual. I think it was like the last game we played against South Korea.
Yeah.
They had the, I don't know, is it like, I think it's one or something. He played in the middle for Feyenoord.
Wang Chi, right there.
Yeah, but he plays for Feyenoord now. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
Because we were playing man that game, and I always watch, okay, what foot is he playing? So we started with the right foot. I was like, okay, so I tried to press into his left foot all the time. And then he's just like, okay, he saw that I'm closing his right foot, and then he just took it over to his left foot and started kicking balls like 60 meters and hitting everyone with the left foot. I said, okay, it's impossible to get him. And then I just tried to be tight on him, but his movements is like, he just gets time every time. Even if I feel like, okay, I'm close to him, he finds like a easy solution. So, that is what you think about, like a midfielder always have time and just plays easy, and that's the most difficult thing in football, to play easy. And it looks so easy. Yeah, you make it look so easy. So now, after that game, I really thought that, okay, he was like, he's not tough that you feel, okay, like, but you didn't feel that you got into him in that way. So yeah, he might be the smartest opponent.
The smartest of them. And as a team, where it's like, wow.
Maybe you don't think, wow, because we won that game, but it was Japan.
I think so. Yeah.
So Japan, you could see when we did like a really good game, but when they got things right, like in their playing style and how fast it went, we could see that this team is quality.
I was in the stands, and when you look on the pitch, you can see it better in the stands, and it was amazing.
I made a lot of videos. Yeah, everybody, like, you could feel that everybody like know each other, and the movements, like, and when they get it right, and the ball just flows, you like went so quick. So in that term, it was like the toughest opponent, but we won that game. So
they were down, but they played 90 minutes straight the plan down with calm, didn't get in a stress of. I was like, wow, discipline, and they're quick
fast with the ball, top players.
agility. Every player can
They have a really good team, but like they sub someone out, they take someone out, and then they just put another quality player in from top 5 leagues in Europe. So it's not that you can think about, okay, they took out this good player, but then they put another quality player. So
the other question is your first goal in the national team against Syria. How was the feeling, bro? Because the first goal always stays in your mind.
and what was a penalty that we got in the, like, it was an important game. It was in the World Cup qualifiers. We got a penalty in the 85th minute, I think, and I wasn't supposed to take it.
Okay, who was the penalty taker? You know that?
I think it was
Said
Amjad.
Amjad?
Yeah.
So before the game, we say, okay, our penalty taker is.
Yeah, I was on the bench. I came on. I didn't start that game.
So before the game, it's clear who about it. Or you say, okay, where fits.
Now, remember that game, it was Amjad.
Okay.
And he was still on the pitch. But I think it's a smart move from him, because he felt tired. It was in the last minutes, and he said, like, if you want to take it, you can take it. So I wasn't scared to step up, and I scored, and that was my first goal. But amazing feeling. But we draw the game 1-1. So of course that takes away a little bit of the feeling, but yeah, it was nice to play. It was good.
3 more questions. As we can out here. Habib. First one. What is your dream? Whether you're in club football, international, we know, reaching the World Cup, but in club football, in your career.
It's just see where the football can take you. I always like to, of course, if I can like dream away, it's like playing in a good league out in Europe. But if I just think about here and now, is that just my next goal I have in front of me is to play every game in my club, develop, take an extension in my career, and from there, hopefully, taking a step up to a better league, and just got to meet the drill.
Inshallah. So, second question: who's the funniest guy in the national team?
After me,
After you,
Krosnak, Doski and Rebin also, like they are together. Doski have like half a brain and Rebin have half a brain, and if you put them together as one brain, so then they are one person. So
Which was that? I prefer not to speak. He prefers not to speak. He's behind the camera. Because if he speaks, he's in big trouble. Easy. And the last question. It's not a question, but you can talk now to the Iraqi community, to your fans. And then we cut a video with a nice little surprise.
what is a surprise? We have a surprise.
We have a special guest.
Special guest.
Okay.
First to the Iraqi fans, I would just say thank you for the support. We appreciate you. And hopefully we will reach the World Cup, and you can walk with your chest up and your head high, and say that we finally make it after so many years, and then we will see you in Mexico, in USA, and Canada. So now it's time for our special guest.
Our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to present you.
Merhaba. It was a really good interview, brother.
You like it?
I love it.
You love.
Tell me your opinion about my English. The English was very good.
You were practicing this morning also, so.
Bro, yeah, in front of a mirror. I was standing in front of the mirror and I speak. Amir, hi. Wie geht's? Geht's dir gut?
No, you can say also some German
Yeah,
words.
some German words also.
I will end this interview by saying, ich liebe dich.
Ich liebe dich auch, Bruder.
Das Interview
Yeah.
is going to be krank, Bruder.
Inshallah, Bruder. So, auf Wiedersehen. Follow us on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, subscribe my channel. And yeah, thank you very much, Amir. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Mirhas.
for your time. I appreciate to be on the
Bro,
channel.
always,
It's an
always.
honor for me.
Anytime if you want to speak with me, you can call me, bro. No problem.
Habibi, thank you.
Habibi.
See you.
So, thank you very much for joining us. See you
At my next video.